When I got there, everybody walked around naked on the island. I mean, hundreds of people. And I never saw a guy stare at a female body that was brought up there. They were swimming nude ever since they were kids. So the guys only looked at the girls' eyes. Can you understand that? They never, hey, get a load of that chick. They never spoke like that. That's the way they speak in this so-called civilized country. But in the South Pacific, when they were 13 or 14, they had sex and they never talked about it. It was normal to them. In this world of civilization, guys buy girly magazines. They do. You couldn't sell a nude picture in the islands because they all walk around nude. So the way we behave is not normal. Girls say, well, you know how men are. That isn't how they are. That's how they're made by this culture. Is there anybody that has trouble with what I said?
No.
All right. My teacher said that the male has an unnatural behavior toward the female. I said, how do you know that? How do you know it isn't conditioned by society? She said, well, what else can it be? So when I got to Tuamotu, the people wore no clothing. It was tropical, and they wore no clothing. And the male of the island never stared at the female body. They always looked at the eyes of a female when they talked to them. I went into all their huts, and none of them had a picture of a nude woman, because they were nude ever since they were knee-high to a grasshopper, ever since they were little. So they never looked at the female body. And there were no peeping toms on the island. I wonder if you can understand that. So the boys and girls walked around nude until they were of departure age. In other words, they were shaped by the culture they lived in. There was nothing to see. Then the missionaries came, and they built a temporary church of canvas, and they made T-shirts for the girls, because they didn't want the girls to come in nude to the church. So they made T-shirts for them, and the girls put the T-shirts on, and they cut 2 holes in the T-shirt because they were uncomfortable. Can you understand that? If everybody in America had a nose a foot long, you'd have surgery done so you look like everybody else. There's no such thing as beauty. If normal people had a pointed head and 2 horns, you'd fall in love with them. There's no such thing as beauty. This is made up by man. Man says that's a beautiful woman, and that woman is not too attractive. That's all a question of values, the way you're brought up. Now, the men and women walked around nude on the island when I got it, a long time ago. And I never saw a native poke another native, hey, get a load of that chick. None of that. None of that. They looked at the eyes of women when they talked to them. Never, hey, look at that. Never at the legs. The motion picture cameras and all your movie theaters are dollying up and down the hindquarters and all. And you wonder why men are like that? They are not like that. They are made like that by culture. Then the missionaries arrived. And the little girls used to come to church, you know, innocent, listening. And they put the T-shirts on them. And the girls had no idea why they were putting T-shirts on them. What's it for? It's like me covering your nose. You can't go into a room big unless your nose is covered. Well, the girls cut 2 holes in the T-shirts and came to church. I went to the South Seas when I was 21. Everybody on the island was nude, except when men climbed trees. They wore kind of a jock strap to prevent their balls from being caught in the branches. So everybody walked around nude. And the interesting thing about it is I never saw a native stare at a girl's body, only her eyes. When he talked to a woman, you never get a load of that chick. That's what you get in civilization.
You cover the girl. If people swam nude when they were this high, you couldn't sell pictures of a nude girl. Do you understand that? I get to know the natives so well, I watch them make love. And they stroke the whole female, the top of her head all the way down. They had no fetishes. There were no tit men, leg men, ass men. All that's made by culture. And if you don't use that kind of language around women, you can't become equal to one another. So you have to tell them how men think. That isn't how they think. That's how they're brought up. When guys poke each other, hey, get a load of that chick, you know. That is learned in the culture. In the islands, they never did that. It's like you stroking a dog. You stroke the whole dog. You don't stop at the balls. You stroke the whole dog. Understand?